Bitcoin has a major problem here. And to be honest, most Bitcoin maximalists won't be honest with you about it. They'll dance around it all day long. But when you really look into this industry and see what's going on, it hits you square in the face. Here's the deal. The rewards on Bitcoin are getting lower and smaller. It's not going to make those amazing gains we witnessed in 2021 or during that insane run in 2017 and 2018. Bitcoin is still going to go up, but those big jumps are pretty much over. That's why I keep repeating that Bitcoin isn't a great way for folks who are just starting out to make money. If you got there early, dude, you hit the jackpot. But for everyone else who is just now getting there, we need to look at various plays. Now, big news sites like USA Today are informing readers that XRP is the best cryptocurrency to buy if you have $500 to spend. There are 5.1 million people who follow this. Is this making me crazy because I'm so bullish? Do I really agree with them? No, not really. There are a lot better options out there, especially if you just have $500 to deal with. But this is what actually matters. The fact that we're seeing this kind of recognition in the mainstream shows that the whole market is performing a complete 180. Things are moving quickly. To be honest, I don't even think Bitcoin should be part of this talk anymore. Bitcoins won't make you rich, period, unless you have a lot of money, like enough to buy whole Bitcoins. Cointelegraph just gave us some big news. XRP might be getting ready for a short-term rebound back. Also, crypto companies are starting to come back to the US since officials are hinting at rules that will be a lot easier to follow. This is what makes this extremely interesting. If you know anything about Cointelegraph, they've been very unfair over the years. They've been talking crap about a lot of older coins, including XRP, for years. They've been quite critical about XRP the whole time. But now you can really see people change their minds in real time. Why? Because XRP's momentum is so powerful that even the most skeptical people can't ignore it anymore. XRP is one of the most bullish legacy coins we have right now, and it just continues getting better. XRP exhibits this insane strength even when everything else is going down, which is really impressive. But here's the thing. A lot of people still believe what the Bitcoin maximalists say. They sound like a broken record. Nothing can touch Bitcoin, hence it will always be number one. I get what you're saying. There are a lot of people who favor Bitcoin. This following is almost like a cult. A lot of people think it's going to be at the top forever because it's the first crypto. Many people think that Bitcoin's dominance will keep rising up and up, lingering in the 60 to 70% area for a long time. And, to be honest, some XRP maximalists feel the same way about their coin. Nothing is going to change. But this is where they all go wrong. Markets change all the time. They never do. There's always something going on, and new things happen all the time that fundamentally shift how we see things. This is what I'll say, though, and it might make some people angry. Eventually, Bitcoin will lose its place at the top. Eventually, Bitcoin will lose its number one spot. That's how the market works. But actually, that's when things start to become interesting. The million-dollar question is what happens next. Take a moment to think about it. A lot of individuals are holding Bitcoin solely because it was the first one. It has the biggest market cap. It's been at the top since the first day. And that power has been quite strong. But when it starts to break and people see the writing on the wall, I'm really interested in how that will turn out. Here's something I wrote in November 2024. I remarked that in the end, people were shocked when I said that projects like XRP would be bigger than Bitcoin. People were really laughing, claiming it was impossible and that I had lost my mind. But that's exactly the kind of thinking that keeps people locked. They can't picture a world where Bitcoin isn't the best, like they think the crypto world is stuck in time or something. This is a serious question that gets to the heart of the matter. When people eventually appraise this field based on how useful it is, what does Bitcoin truly offer? We've been hearing this story about a store of value for years. But really, what good does it do to merely sit there and hold something? When those outrageous returns start to fall down and usefulness becomes the most important thing, that old tech is going to appear rather ancient. I believe that's where Bitcoin is going, whether people want to hear it or not. The projects who have extremely fast, super efficient technology and real-world use cases already planned out are going to be the big players in this field. And even now that there is a lot of regulatory activity going on in the US, I think that's where we should be focusing. We're seeing this change happen right in front of us, from just guessing to true usefulness, to programs that really help people. That's why Stellar, Hedera, Algorand, and other projects remain doing well behind the scenes with strong fundamentals. They're not just talking about partnerships, they're really getting them. We're talking about big growths, works with well-known brands, and gets people to sign contracts with big companies. You know what's crazy? People have been telling us for years that these projects won't go anywhere, that we're too early, that utilities won't change, and that there will never be a big utility season. People keep stating the same thing over and over again. But I still wonder this. When do people really start using this technology? To be honest, I'm most excited by the technology itself, especially when I think about the future. And you know what? It is already on the radar of governments. Think about why stablecoins are suddenly so popular. It's because payments and settling transactions are so easy on these networks. This makes it possible to tokenize all of these markets that people all over the world use every day. These everyday asset classes and markets that we all depend on are practically crying for an overhaul. They need to work a lot better than they do today. Putting everything on the blockchain is the best way to make that happen. That's why these utilities projects are going to be so important. So here's the deal with Bitcoin. It really can't manage this kind of huge magnitude. Ethereum can't do that either. So what does that mean for us? We begin to look at the next round of initiatives. XRP, HORP, Algo, and Stellar. These are the ones that will really represent crypto in the future. But then you hear all these ridiculous price projections all over the place. Listen up, VayneX's CEO has released some data that will blow your head. He says that if Bitcoin's value is only half that of actual gold, each coin will be worth about $537,225. This is when it gets interesting. If that's where Bitcoin is going, what do you think XRP's price will be? Bitcoin is virtually digital gold at this moment, and it will eventually reach that half gold value. Just take a second to think about that. It's simply a sensation that Bitcoin is like digital gold. And I just say, listen, at some point it will be worth half as much as real gold, and that's roughly $400,000. I guess we're just becoming older and wiser. The stable currency news has been excellent during the past month because you can now be a software business and compete in the Genius Act. I call it the third most important piece of bank regulation in U.S. history. In the realm of payments. In the past, you had to be a bank in the U.S. You can now start a tech company, but it will take a year. It will take more than 4 quarters. But the changes that are going to place on Wall Street are amazing. I think that's exactly where we should be focusing, especially with all the regulatory changes happening in the US right now. We can see this change happening right in front of us, moving from speculation to real usefulness and projects that tackle real problems.